Hi, Phaedra. How are you?
Hello, Simone. I'm happy to be here. How are you?
Good. Hi, everyone. I'm with Dr. Faydra Shapiro. She's our Senior Research Fellow here at the Philos Project. And I was hoping to quickly pick your brain about all the, it's about this again, anti Semitic comments and boycott of this new film called Mary that's coming out this December. And the lead role, Mary, as well as Joseph, as you just told me, are being played by Israeli Jews. And so all these anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian boycotters are now reaching out to Netflix trying to get the film boycotted and canceled. So, Phaedra, I don't know what to say. I cannot believe it.
I mean, frankly, to boycott a film because the mother of Jesus is being played by a Jew is to boycott the Gospels, right? And it doesn't make any sense. The fact of the actor's Israeli citizenship should be irrelevant, right? The whole concept of citizenship wouldn't have made any sense to Jesus and his family. Mary
Right.
and Joseph and Jesus were Jews, right? That's undeniable. And certainly, like, their Jewish practice wasn't identical with, uh, post rabbinic Jewish practice. But they weren't Israelis, right? And they weren't Palestinians, right? They didn't have an
Palestinians.
Israeli identity or a Palestinian identity. They wouldn't have understood themselves in this way. They would have thought of themselves as part of the nation of Israel, right? Not pagans. They would have thought of
Right.
themselves connected to their family, to their village. But this whole citizenship lens is completely foreign.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's a couple things for me as a former actress, although I don't think any real actor likes to say they're former actors because the you once you've done it, you've got the bug forever. But even if they weren't Jewish at all, that would be fine. It's a movie; they're actors, so it's I think better that they cast Jews to play who were historically Jews because it's easier uh, to relate to the characters. That makes sense. I was annoyed when I watched an Armenian film, The Promise, and the Armenian girl wasn't Armenian at all, didn't even look Armenian. So I think it's great that they cast Jews who are also happen to be Israelis. And so I agree with you that Jesus and Mary were neither Israelis or Palestinians, but for the protesters who are boycotting and saying Jesus and Mary were Palestinian Jews, no, they weren't.
Right. Let me just back up 1 second. The point that you
Yeah.
made. I think this is like a very important, also rectification of a classical problem of representation. Right. We're horrified by blackface and yellowface. Well, what about Jewface? Right. Like, we can't be calling
Mhm.
for greater diversity in the film industry and expect an end to the whitewashing of people of color and then criticize films that cast Jewish actors to play Jewish characters.
Right. Right. Yeah. Um, and I just really want to speak out the truth that they Jesus and Mary were not Palestinians. They were not Palestinian Jews. And I hear that sometimes in churches, Phaedra, and it's very annoying to me. The word Palestine was that's a Roman thing after Jewish expulsion from the land. So again, you're anyway. What? Yeah. Do you want to say anything about this? Is so silly. We're having this conversation. It's a movie.
I mean, listen, we can say that there were, that there are analogies between the Palestinian situation today and the Jewish situation under occupation. Rome. Like, you can definitely do those things, okay? But reading contemporary geopolitics back into the Gospels, it's not only that it's inaccurate, it does real violence to the text, right? It starts to weaponize the Bible into a reading that's not theological or spiritual, but it becomes ideological, and that's a real problem.
It is, and I feel bad for those actors. Not just because it's like so hateful. Like, hey, wish you weren't cast because you're you're citizens of Israel. Um, they're just actors trying to do their job, and they're getting hated on. It's not even just the point you make is the crucial one, right? We're reading geopolitics backwards to something that is a piece of art and supposed to be a spiritual film. But what about those real people, those real actors today that are being hated on just for being cast and creating a beautiful film? I mean, I just feel bad for them as people because they're not seeing themselves as politicians or in the geopolitical playing field. They're just actors. They're playing, you know?
Absolutely. And they didn't choose their citizenship. We know nothing about their politics, about their experience, about their opinions, about who they voted for. They're just people who happen to have been born Israeli. And you're going to sort of like throw on top of them this responsibility for all actions by the state of Israel. I mean, that's just a ridiculous generalization, making one person responsible, for the actions of a whole geopolitical entity.
It is. And I hope that Netflix does not cave on this. Not that they can, because it's supposed to come out in December, but I hope that the leadership of Netflix really does not at all pay attention to these boycotters. And I'm definitely going to go watch the film, especially now. So,
Well,
and any final
I
thoughts,
am as well.
Phaedra?
And the truth is, I'm actually kind of excited about it because, today, as the church is very, very clear and aware and understanding about the Jewishness of Jesus and how much that matters for the identity of the church, it's been a little bit slower to kind of recognize and think about the sort of implications of the Jewishness of Mary. And there's a whole historical precedence for de-Judaizing Mary, just as there is for the de-Judaizing of Jesus.
Right.
So, when people on social media are trying to imagine Mary as not Jewish, they're standing in a very solidly anti-Semitic tradition. So I think that
Right.
this film has the possibility of kind of resetting our imaginations to be able to think with a Jewish Mary.
Lovely. And on that note, if you didn't realize it from hearing Phaedra speak, Jewish Catholic relations is her special sauce. So check out her writings and other videos. Thank you so much, Phaedra, for having this brief but important conversation.
A pleasure. Thanks for your time.